All right, now we're going to explore steps 7, 8, and 9. Now, if you missed steps 1 through 6, make sure you go back to those videos and check those out first. And then come back here. Don't worry, I'll still be here. So now we're going to check out step 7. Discussion is at the heart of the formation process. And that's what's at the heart of step 7. Now you're going to start talking with your kids. You're going to start asking them questions. And the first one you're going to ask them is what's happening in the passage. So all these discussion questions that we have here in your leader's guide are aimed to help you and your kids explore what's happening in the passage. What's going on? Who's saying what? What are they feeling? What are they experiencing? So you've got 3 question prompts that you can begin to talk to your kids about. This might be different for some of your kids too. They might not be used to being asked a whole bunch of questions, asked to give their input and their opinions and talk with you. And so again, just give it some time. The more you do this, the more your kids will grow in confidence, knowing that their ideas and that their opinions matter, and the more they will be willing to talk. So if they want to talk about a certain part of the passage, maybe there's not even a question about that part of a passage in here, do it. Follow them. Follow the curiosity of their kids. Now, sometimes kids will obviously want to get sidetracked. They might want to spend 10 minutes talking about how long Goliath's beard really was. So you can pull them back on topic for those sort of things. But if they have questions about other parts of the passage that aren't even suggested, do it. See where it goes. See where your discussions lead. Make sure you give them lots of positive feedback as you're going through these questions. Everything in here, like I said, talks about what's happening in the passage. The second week of your expedition in the passage, step 7 will be what's happening in the Bible. Now remember, this is the third what question of the 5 whats. So the first time through the passage, you'll get what's happening in the passage. The second time, so a week later, this question, all this discussion will be about what's happening in the Bible. So we will give you a second passage that will help you understand this primary passage. And that is located right here in your leader's guide. So for this lesson, it is Hebrews chapter 11, verses 1 through 7. We have that actually printed right here for you so you can read that to your kids or they can read it along with you. And then there's discussion questions that will help you discuss that passage and how that passage relates to the overall passage. How does Hebrews 11 help us understand the story of Noah and the ark? That's what you're going to find out. So that's what happens in step 7. You're going to have 2 questions. It's either going to be what's happening in the passage or what's happening in the Bible. So step 8, what's this say about God? This is the 4th of the 5 what questions. So remember, before we do anything, we want to know what this passage says about God. So all these questions will have something to do with what God is doing in the passage. Where is he active? What is he thinking? What is he doing? How is he feeling? What's this mean? So everything here has to do with what's this say about God. Now on the second week that you explore this passage, you'll be asking the general question of what's this say about us? Now remember, this is the 5th of the 5 what questions. What's this say about us? And so all these questions relate to what do we do now? Okay, now that I have explored this passage, what does it mean for me? Now we give you a lot of questions, and we do that because we know sometimes kids are kind of hesitant to share answers. They don't want to get anything wrong. So we really have tried to form these questions in a way where there's not a wrong answer, and we're just asking for their input. And the more you do this, the more they will grow in confidence knowing that you care. So that's why there's so many questions. And you'll probably think of more on your own as you're doing it. Kids may bring up their own questions. And again, it's important to pursue faith discoveries that your kids are making. So if they're bringing something up, ask them questions about it. Encourage that. There may be something that they think about a passage that you had never even thought about. And that's the whole point of Eureka. We want kids to make faith discoveries. So there it is. That is step 8. You've done it. You made it all the way to step 9. Nice work. And this is where your kids will solidify the faith discovery that you have helped them to make. This is where they're going to write down what they want to remember from their expedition. And we have created a space just for that inside every kid's discovery guide, right here at the bottom of their map, once they get all the way to the end, is the relic. And they're gonna write down what it is that they want to remember. What's the important faith discovery that they have made? Now this might be a little tricky for kids. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna spend a few minutes just exploring ideas. Kids can give suggestions. They can say things that were important to them in the lesson. And this is where it's important as a leader to remember that each of these can be different. So each kid can have a different faith discovery. Sometimes it might just be something that they want to do. Maybe they might write, I need to ask someone for forgiveness. Or maybe they just write a big heart with the words God and me written in them. Something as simple as that. Or if it's one of the first times they've heard a certain Bible story, they might just write a picture in there to help them remember that story. It could be anything. They might even write something from the remember verse. Maybe the remember verse was the most important thing that they grabbed onto that day. So they might write a word from the remember verse on there. Anything like that. And each student's might be different. And then at the end, once they're done recording it on here, they can keep it to themselves or they can share it with a group. They don't have to share. This can be totally private if they want to, because they're gonna take this entire thing home with them at the end of the day. So no one else has to see this. So that's gonna happen every single week. Now, there's another part of step 9 that happens every other week. You're gonna think about everything you've explored the past 2 weeks, and you're going to, as a class, create a relic of one thing that you want to remember. Maybe you draw a picture of Noah's boat and all the little animals in there. Maybe you draw a picture of the rainbow, or you just write a word on there, mercy. Whatever it is, have kids in your class give an idea, give their ideas, share their ideas, talk about them, and then as a class decide, what is one thing that we want to remember from this passage? What's the one thing that we don't want to forget? And then you're going to write this on here, you're going to punch it out, and then you're going to take this relic and you're going to put it on your relic wall poster. And then at the end of the quarter, you'll have 6 to 7 different relics helping you remember all the faith discoveries that you have made. How awesome is that? So you won't ever forget them. And each week as your kids come in, they'll see those and they'll remember those expeditions through those passages. So that is step 9. That is the conclusion of your expedition. And make sure that your kids leave the classroom with this in hand. Not only does it have all the things that they have done in class, the words, and it has the Eureka Bible passage so they can take this home with them. Since some kids may not have a Bible at home, they will have this with them. It also has on the back things for them to do at home, little extra activities. There's a remember verse activity to help them remember the verse. And there's 2 or 3 little things here that they can do on their own at home as well. And they can also read the journal and see if there's something in there that reminds them of something that they have studied or explored in the lesson. So make sure all your kids take this home. Now, if you're leading the Eureka Junior, we have another set of videos just for those 9 steps. So make sure you check those out. And don't forget, every time you order a leader's guide, you get a full explanation of everything in here, as well as an explanation of all the 9 steps. So you also have this to help you out. Keep exploring.